Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features Wolverine number 61, cover dated late September 1992. So what do you do when Mark Silvestri leaves a fan favourite run on Wolverine, teamed up with Larry Hama, obviously looking around for a comparable replacement artist, one that would sell copies, continue to sell copies of the comic. And they turned to an artist who had made his name on Ghost Rider, starting off inking Javier Saltares and then moving on to pencil and ink the comic himself. Came off that title with issue 24 and shifted on over to Wolverine's solo title. So Mark Texeira comes on for a memorable but very, very short run, even compared to Silvestri's 2-year and a bit run on the title. And this is Texeira's first issue. A very, very dynamic, very wild cover here with Wolverine lifting this robotic head. My initial thought was that it was Ultron, but inside we'll see exactly what it is. You've got the Kirby crackle there. All of this is inked with a brush. Some pretty wild hatching and cross-hatching going on down here in the shadowed area of Wolverine's legs. It's really, really wild, dynamic, powerful cover, and it really does kind of say welcome to a new artistic era on the title. So let's open this one up to the splash page, and we have the title of the story there, Nightmare Quest, and the creative team: Larry Hama script, Mark Texeira art, Steve Buccellato coloring, and Pat Brosseau lettering. So let's get into Wolverine's first-person narration. The color o' pain is the red you see through your closed eyelids when your head is shoved into a blast furnace. The taste o' pain is sour metal, hot and biting, like the fillings melting in your mouth. The sound o' pain is a voice screaming from the bottom of a well, and it's your own voice. So really hard-boiled stuff to open up this particular issue. We see him there kind of impaled in the branches and twigs of a tree, and he says, "Come out of those shadows and show yourselves. Come out and fight me face to face." And they say, these shadowy figures, "You won't like that, Wolverine. You won't like what you see." So something of a mystery here. Great figure work by Texeira, twisting Wolverine's torso there. I'm going to have more to say about his version of Wolverine as we get a few more pages into the issue. Then we get a great double page spread here. 2 half spreads, so the double page divided into 2 panels. Wolverine swiping with his claws there. I'll be the judge of that, but they're right. I don't like what I see. So he's surrounded. It's Silver Fox, but not the Silver Fox I was in love with in that cabin so long ago, but some evil Silver Fox from a hazy memory of a revolutionary hideout in Ontario. So this is calling back to the Shiva scenario trilogy, which was told in issues 48, 49, and 50, the double-sized issue 50 of the title. And so we saw all of this in those issues. Mean dude with the shades, another revolutionary, Carlisle. Why do I think he's got another name? And we'll learn the other name in this particular story. Sabretooth, is he really and he was about to say father. So look at this, even look at the detail back here. The trunk of the tree is kind of bleeding there as these claws, something inside the trunk of the tree is seeking to open it up. And we've got the radiator there tied to whatever is locked within the trunk of the tree. And then more company stepping out of the woodwork, but whoever they are, they're shooting at the bad guys. So who are these figures wearing suits? And Silver Fox exclaims, "We've got no cover, Sabretooth, we got to bug out." And he says, "We'll be back, Logan." And then when Logan looks behind him, who does he see? Except the same trio, but dressed differently. "You're the same, but not the same," he says. And Carlisle this time identifies himself as John Wraith. So they're shot, and the evil or bad Silver Fox grabs Wolverine by his uniform and says, "Who can trust to tell you the truth but your worst enemies? Who can you trust to tell you the truth but your worst enemies? Don't you know who your friends are?" And then she starts shouting at him, "Hey, wake up." And he's confused So this has to be a dream sequence, yes. Let's turn the page. It was. Logan was napping, and it's Jubilee telling him to wake up. So, what's the kind of time period of this story? Well, it's picking up from the end of issue 58 when they left Tokyo. But look at their jetliner. It's landing on the Shield helicarrier. It's a really great image of the Shield helicarrier by Mark Texeira. Really good stuff. Gives a sense of the scale with the jet plane there landing down on the runway. And Jubilee says to Logan, "You've been out like a light for over 10 hours, Wolvie, but we're not at LAX yet. Our flight's been diverted to Shield helicarrier." And Logan says, "Going to have to tighten Nick Fury up. He's running a bit fast and loose with that badge o' his." So Logan not at all perturbed. Jubilee's not allowed off the plane, and Logan's being marched down to meet with Nick Fury. So he makes a little joke. "Smattered Nicholas, Uncle Sam didn't like the math on my tax return." And Fury picks up on the joke. "It's them cigar deductions, Logan. Seriously, somebody with a lot of push wants you down on terra firma ASAP. So the chopper's waiting." What's Logan got to say to that? "Let's go. I'm down to meet anybody who can make S.H.I.E.L.D. jump through a hoop." So he's curious, he's interested, not exactly rushed to get back with the X-Men. And of course Jubilee wants to tag along, and Logan asks that she does. And Nick Fury replies, "No skin off my teeth. The man with push wants to see you. Didn't say zip about whether or not you came with a retinue." So there she is. She's joining them as well. And this is where I want to comment on Texeira's interpretation of Logan, of Wolverine. Look at the way that he's standing there. So of course in superhero comics you get exaggerated anatomy, but tell me this, does Logan there look like he's 5'3"? I don't think so. He looks way taller than 5'3". But I like the exaggerated anatomy. I like the twisted torso. I like the proportions on the figure. And I'm going to make another comment on Texeira's art and what it seems like to me, or what it reminds me of, in a couple of pages' time. So off they go in the chopper, and they land at a certain point. Jubilee says this place is totally yucked out. Logan says a little bit more clearly, like Dresden after the English Air Force lit it up. And he says, "Leery spot for a meet-up. Everything around here is burnt rubble." So who is it with push who wants to meet Logan? Well, somebody shines a flashlight in his and Jubilee's faces. "You know who I am?" asked the guy. "Sometimes you're Carlisle and sometimes you're John Wraith. That pistol won't stop me, bub." So he's holding a pistol in his right hand. "But it sure will knock the stuffing out of your little friend, won't it?" he says as he levels it at Jubilee. She's not happy about that. Like the design of the panel layout on this page. Horizontal panels with the thick black border. Looks good. Interesting little kind of artistic decision to have part of Wolverine's mask break the panel border there as well. Let's continue. I've seen this before. I've seen this scene before. Logan says in his first person narration, so he's getting another memory here. Saw it in some rotten stinking jungle in Southeast Asia. So here we have Logan himself. We've got Carlisle, John Wraith, and we've got Sabretooth. And we've got some poor local woman who stumbled into their camp. And Wraith says she saw everything were compromised to the utmost. Sabretooth says, "Not if she don't. Walk out of here. Do her, Wraith man. We got a mission." So Wraith says, "You guys go ahead. I'll do it quiet and catch up." But Sabretooth just shoots her down with the machine gun, and Logan grabs him by the lapels. "What are you, some kind of animal? We're out here doing a lousy job, but we're supposed to be the good guys." And Sabretooth retorts, "Had to be done. Old John Wraith was going to let her slide because he don't have the guts to DX her commie butt. The old Wraith man got a soft heart." So back in the present, Logan's remembered. You couldn't do it in the middle of the boonies all those years ago, Wraith man. I don't think you can do it now. So he pulls up the pistol. He says, you remember that one? Beaucoup interesting. Number 1. You remember the objective of that mission? So Vietnam. You got any idea where we were? Not in Vietnam. Not a clue, he says. Get behind me, darling. So maybe they were in Laos or Cambodia or something like that. Some Black Ops mission. And Jubilee's behind him there. You got some weird friends, Wolvie, she says. That's kind of humorous. But again, see the proportions here. So obviously we have exaggerated foreshortening here with this top-down angle on Wolverine. But he looks, once again, much taller than 5'3". And this kind of twisting and elongation of the anatomy, I'll tell you now, which Renaissance master painter I'm reminded of here, and that is El Greco. So that's El Greco, the Greek in Spanish. So he's a 16th century, early 17th century Renaissance master painter. Look up his work and you will instantly see, just do a quick search online for El Greco's paintings and you will see instantly what I mean about the elongated and twisted anatomy. That's reminding me of Texeira's style here. So what's the story? Wolverine says, I recall something else about you to Wraith, Berlin 20 years ago. So this is going to be crossing over with the story that we saw told in X-Men issue number 5. That's Jim Lee's X-Men number 5. But Lee is gone now at this point. He's gone off to co-found Image. And so Larry Hama is free to do what he wants. With this story, it was me, North, and Creed. We got the Carbonadium, but Janice was dead. You stayed behind to cover our getaway. And as we pulled away, I looked back, says Logan. So you can see him looking back there. There's Omega Red on the street. Wraith fires off this shoulder-mounted, what would you call it, cannon. And I saw the hit dead on center, a mass point of impact. Enough high explosive to drop a rabid bull rhino, but not Omega Red. Nada zip, NDE, no discernible effect. The light's a military jargon. The light was bad. I was in a speeding Jeep and the old adrenaline pump was working overtime, but I'm pretty sure I saw what I saw. So he disappeared out of Omega Red's tentacles. You got some sort of vanishing act, don't you, bub? Says Logan. That's a nice page. I like it. He switches off the flashlight and says, you might say that. You ever read Ralph Ellison? So this is something you get often with Larry Hama, literary references. Ralph Ellison is the author of The Invisible Man. He related to Harlan, the sci-fi writer and sometimes comics writer. Not hardly, says Wraith. Here, catch. So this is the reason he's called Wraith, that he can vanish like a wraith. So what's this? Jubilee uses her fireworks to throw some light on the scene. It's the head from a Shiva android. So this is the head that we saw on the cover. It's not Ultron. And so Logan recognizes it and then it becomes activated. Cataclysmic memory backlash. Shiva has the electronic triggers which activate implants in my brain. So he's screaming there. Every moment of pain in my life compressed into one jangling nerve center in the middle of my brain. So now we got these flashbacks of his history. So there's World War II history there. There's Weapon X history. There's his being impaled on these spikes that we saw in Weapon X. Then he's cutting vines with his claws. And it's Cuba, circa 1962. So another Black Ops mission. Sabretooth, says Logan, or should I say El Tigre. And Sabretooth says, it's about time you showed, Gara. You cover the right with Elefante when Halcon makes his run for the missile. So what are they up to in 1962 in Cuba where they shouldn't be? So it gets explained here. Tio Fidel, Uncle Fidel, kept one back when JFK called Nikita's bluff. Now it's our job. So it is a nuke. And of course there's Cuban soldiers there firing at the guys. This great art here. Come on, you hairy little fire plug, says Mastodon. Kill some commies. It'll take your mind off that traitor, Zora de Plata. So that's Silver Fox, the Silver Fox of the Sierra Maestra, which is a part of Cuba. What did you say, asks Logan. Elefante, elephant, mastodon, I remember in the present. And Halcon was John Wraith. So he put some kind of shaped charge on the missile. This is a memory that was suppressed. Really like that close-up there on a screaming Wolverine. Like the way that his lips are curled right into the teeth. And then something grabs Mastodon, some tentacle out from the jungle. What is that thing? Asks Logan as he's firing away at it. Somebody's standing back there directing it. And then he sees Silver Fox. And then he breaks contact, or rather Jubilee pulls the Shiva head out of his hands. It smashes on the ground. She smashes it there. That's great cartooning by Texeira. Wolverine gets himself together. Wraith zapped me with the Shiva head. And so right there in the background, he says, thought it might jog your recollections a mite. So Wolverine launches himself at him. Again, that's way taller than 5'3". And John Wraith says, you'd better get copacetic, boss, because you have to come with me to meet somebody. And then he disappears again. So let's see over here on the sidewalk. So they follow him over to the sidewalk. We've been in Los Angeles all this time, not even 20 minutes away from a mall. We are, says Wraith. You trying to make some kind of point meeting us here? And he says, the answer to that is spray painted on the side of my house. I'm not making a point. I live here. So this is kind of mysterious stuff. What is going on here? Is this is it meant that was LA? Or is there something psychedelic going on? It's hard to discern because Jubilee is seeing the same thing. So is someone casting an illusion? Anyway, he goes into the house. They're fired at. Logan, from inside the house, they're fired at. Logan uses his claws to cut his way into the house. Who are these people in silhouette here firing at him? And whoever they are, Wraith gets right behind them. That's the sound of the safeties on a pair of 45 automatics. You don't want to hear the next sound they make, do you, as they click. So Wraith says here, put the claws away, Wolverine. The situation's under control. And Jubilee puts the lights on. Kids with machine guns ripping off TV sets. All right. And so he slashes the barrels off the machine guns, tells the kids to go. Wraith tosses one of them the TV, and somebody from a different room says, hey, I watched that thing. It's all I got to do these days, stuttering over the consonants. And so who's this old man who's fallen out of his wheelchair? Who's that out there with you, Wraith man? He says, I recognize the voice. The hairy little fire plug. So Logan recognizes him, Mastodon, but you can't be Mastodon. He was a big strong fella, same age as me, and Wraith says, and all the rest of us in the program. So this was all hinted at in issues 48 to 50, that there was some factor that was going to retard the aging process for them, but maybe it's backfired. Wraith explains Mastodon was fine until last month. Then this happened. All those years came running up behind him and cut him off at the pass. That's why I'm tracking down the old team. Maybe together we can figure this out. So interesting choice here to have everyone in silhouette. And Wraith continues, I've been able to track down most of them, including Silver Fox. So obviously that has Logan's attention because Silver Fox is his erstwhile love. Sabretooth didn't kill her. My memory of that is a lie. That's a reference back to Wolverine issue number 10. And Wraith replies, implants, man, all implants. Took me years to sort my own out. Sabretooth never killed her in any of my scenarios. Of course, he might still think he did her in, but you can just ask him about that yourself. So Logan asks he's here, not willingly, but he's here all right. So he unlocks the padlock on these doors down to the basement, and here is Sabretooth, strung up and manacled. And Wraith says, don't get too close, he bites. And the shaped charge, remember he used that on the missile area earlier, it must be a skill of his. He's got strapped to his chest, can do a lot of collateral damage. All right, to be continued. So that is a really good cliffhanger for this particular issue. And again, you can see that kind of twisted, exaggerated anatomy there on Sabretooth. And again, I would recommend that you take a look at the artwork of El Greco and tell me if I'm seeing what I am seeing, which is a similarity between Texeira and El Greco. So one page of letters here concerning issue number 56. Nothing terribly interesting, and that is it. 22 pages of story and art from the new regular team of Larry Hama and Mark Texeira. Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comment section. I really like this artwork. I know that some people mightn't have the taste for it, but I find it very dynamic, really interesting to look at, and I like the fact that Texeira is penciling and inking the artwork here, which I always prefer when an artist inks their own pencils. So do let me know your thoughts on this one in the comment section. If you enjoyed my review and commentary, please like and share the video. It really does help the channel. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.